Have you ever considered how one man's teachings could stir an entire city, leading to his own trial and execution? Socrates, a figure of intrigue from ancient Athens, just happened to be that one man. His unconventional teachings ruffled Athenian society and pushed boundaries. At the core of his philosophy, the Socratic method stimulated critical thinking through dialogue. Socrates, with his question-probing, often upset many. He advocated questioning everything, even things deemed sacred. So was Socrates a menace to Athenian society or a misunderstood genius? Well then, let's dive into the debate. Imagine being accused of corrupting the minds of the youth. That was the charge against Socrates. One might wonder, wasn't Socrates an integral figure in Western philosophy? Indeed he was. But back then, not everyone held that view. Welcome to the 5th century BC Athens, a city pulsating with intellectual growth and cultural evolution. However, it was also a city marred by societal unease. A core concern was the impact of intellectual influence on the adolescent minds of the youth. Socrates possessed an uncanny knack for inciting people to question everything. To the Athenians, this was alarming. Socrates, with his provocative ideas, was seen as leading young minds away from the established norms. Athenian society reacted negatively to this, viewing him as a disruptor. There were allegations of Socrates disrespecting the state's gods and introducing new deities, a serious charge in a tradition-bound religious city. His thoughtful ideas were perceived as a direct confrontation to the Athenian lifestyle. However, was Socrates truly corrupting the youth? Or was he merely promoting critical thinking, skepticism, and independent thought? Isn't that the essence of philosophy as we know it anyway? Several of his pupils became notable thinkers and leaders, contributing significantly to society as well as history. Were the Athenians merely fearful of the fresh perspectives Socrates embodied, dreading the change he represented? Unsettling questions indeed, but was there any merit to these allegations? Or were the Athenians simply afraid of change? Now let's shift gears and look at the other side of the coin, the defense side of Socrates. Socrates, a towering figure in the annals of history, presented a defense that was a testament to his principles. His defense portrayed him not as a corrupter, but as a beacon of intellectual rigor and influence. His method, relentless questioning, was aimed to dispel the fog of ignorance, not breed corruption. He championed the idea that an unexamined life is not worth living, a belief he instilled in his disciples. Socrates was also a man of unwavering moral integrity. He promoter of virtue is knowledge, meaning the true understanding of good leads to good actions. This philosophy guided the youth towards ethical living rather than leading them astray. Now let's consider his stance on authority and tradition. In a society that prized obedience, Socrates urged his followers to question everything. Was this corruption or a call for intellectual independence? He was encouraging the youth not to accept the status quo blindly, a path towards enlightenment, not corruption. Socrates' teachings were aimed at the fostering of inquiry, not promoting anarchy. He was arming the youth with the tools to think, to question, to seek their own understanding. So was Socrates merely encouraging critical thinking and self-examination, or was he indeed leading the youth astray? That, dear listeners, is a question that echoes through the ages, resonating even today as we speak. The trial of Socrates was a landmark event, but was the verdict fair? Let's dig into the heart of this ancient matter. Unfortunately, Socrates, a man gifted with stunning intellect, was declared guilty by an Athenian court that consisted of all men, over 500 of his peers. The sentence, death by hemlock, a devastating blow for a philosopher of his stature. Was this sentence justified, or was it the outcome of a society resistant to change, finding Socrates' theories too disruptive? Socrates, once again being a man known to question everything, ignited critical thinking, a mental exercise not widely recognized by the Athenian elite. He was a philosophical revolutionary who incited a new line of thought. Nonetheless, he was accused of causing an Athenian evolution. Was it just to accuse Socrates for Athens' metamorphosis? It's plausible that it was not him who began this shift, but those ready to shatter traditional beliefs. If viewed from this perspective, Socrates was not a culprit of crime, but a catalyst that sparked nothing but intellectual curiosity. So this brings us back to our initial query. Was the verdict fair? This question has perplexed thinkers for centuries. Some argue that Socrates was a casualty of his time, a scapegoat for a society dreading change. Others believe his theories were indeed a menace to societal harmony. The jury may have had their say, but the debate still rages on. In the court of public opinion, the case of Socrates remains to this day a highly contested point of philosophical debate. Despite his controversial reputation, Socrates' influence on philosophy is undeniable. This ancient philosopher profoundly shaped the intellectual world. His unique approach encouraged us to question established norms and conventional wisdom. Today, the essence of Socratic philosophy resonates throughout classrooms worldwide. Teachers use his strategies to explore deeper into subjects, prompting students to examine and challenge ideas. This method nurtures an environment of intellectual curiosity and inquiry. Furthermore, Socrates' influence extends beyond education, deeply ingrained in the sphere of intellectual discourse. Politicians, lawyers, and thinkers employ his tactics, stimulating thought, promoting dialogue, and fostering the quest for truth. Socrates' impact, however, is far-reaching. He dared the Athenian youth to think independently, to defy convention, and to seek wisdom and virtue above all else. His teachings infused a spirit of intellectual courage that has reverberated through time. Although he faced accusations in his era, Socrates' influence remains largely positive, enriching our cultural and intellectual heritage. His methods have redefined how we think, debate, and learn, cultivating a persistent intellectual curiosity within us. His philosophical legacy continues to inspire, provoke, and mold the minds of those who dare to seek the truth. Despite the accusations of his time, Socrates' influence has been overwhelmingly positive, enriching our intellectual and cultural heritage. His methods have shaped the way we think, debate, and learn. They've fostered a spirit of intellectual curiosity that continues to thrive in our modern world. Whether a corrupter or a catalyst, Socrates certainly left an indelible mark on history. His philosophical legacy continues to inspire, to provoke, and to shape the minds of those who dare to seek the truth as well as intellectual growth. The debate surrounding Socrates' influence on Athenian youth remains complex. Socrates' figure has always been a topic of controversy in Athens. He faced accusations of introducing new deities, yet remained steadfast in his defense, reflecting his deep-seated convictions. The public verdict was harsh, likely due to a society reluctant to grasp his innovative methods. But the disputed question still stands: was Socrates a corrupter or a catalyst for intellectual and moral growth? Well, prospectively, this can only be answered by you. You get to decide. After all, as Socrates himself might have said, the unexamined life is not worth living. And as we bring this discussion to a close, we thank you indeed for joining us on another journey and episode of Philosophical Flicks. Your time, curiosity, and engagement are what make these deep dives into history and philosophy possible, and we couldn't be more grateful, or even do it without you for that matter. So again I ask, was Socrates a corrupter or a catalyst? The debate is open, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments below, so please do join the discussion, as your input is invaluable. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video informative, and subscribe to stay tuned for our next episode. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.